Hi everybody, it's Anne Lewis, your independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based on the Sunshine Coast here in Queensland, Australia. I've been asked a couple of weeks ago when I asked are there any questions that anyone would like answered. One of the questions that came in is could you do a craft room tour? And today is the day. My room is relatively tidy. And I did do a big clean out a couple of weeks ago. So before it unravels completely, I thought today was the day. So I've had to split this into two, and I'll start the tour in a couple of secs. Rightio, so this is as I walk in. I will just give you a bit of a quick look. I've really only got one wall. Everything else is windows, including behind this big IKEA, I'm just stepping back so you can see my big IKEA stand, and then also there. So I don't have a lot of walls to play with, but I've kind of done some workarounds for that. So let's come back here. So these are my lovely bags that I've got from Stampin' Up. Now this one came from a friend. I have some retired embellishments in this holder, and also behind the door is my photo background. So I use them sometimes, depends on where I'm at with my photos. So I'm going to come around here, and I've got a built-in cupboard that wasn't purposely built for me. As you see, it's got my calendar on there. It's also got the Stampin' Up colours, which sometimes I refer to. I'm going to open this up. So in those big plastic containers there are my spare cardstock. This is how I store my open cardstock and also my specialty cardstock. So shimmery white paper, thick basic white, vellum, any of the fancy, I suppose, basic range though. Down here in this container here is how I store all my scrap pieces of paper. So I have them in plastic containers that I got off Amazon. I think they're called postal, or maybe they've got a thing on here, Avery somethings. But I think they're called postal packs or something, and not to post, they're to store stuff in. I find that really useful. I'm not storing as many scrap pieces of paper, but I've got like 3 in each pack, and I've got the in colors at the back. Now down in this one, as you see, I use a lot of different storage as things change from house to house. But in this one, I've just got the 12 by 12 basic white and basic black. Up here, I've got, as you can see, some retired framelits. I've also got some retired papers that I think I'll use in the future, and I actually do. So I'll come back over here. Here is my kind of junk trolley, but it has my old Big Shot on it. And I've got some more new cardstock over here, which is the in colors. And I've got some retired 12 by 12 cardstock, which is really unusual, but I certainly do use that. I'm slowly working my way through it. I've got some projects up here on the wall, so I'll just walk back. These are ones that I've done, normally for classes, but not necessarily. I've got the little daisy chain up the top that a friend of mine, Christine Josty, sent me. And it just makes my heart sing seeing that. Now I've got over here, I've got my pencil sharpener, which is probably the thing that I use the most. The little tortoise. I've got a few really nice little bits and pieces to make my craft room feel like home, I suppose. Little tortoise light. I've got some of my retired stamps. I try and sell them off as much as I possibly can. In this container here, I have my Stamparatus, I have any Stampin' Up packaging, also have the adhesive sheets, the masks, shimmer paste, and I also store some of my Stampin' Up stationery. So over here is probably the hub of my storage, and I use the Stampin' Up storage system, which as you see comes together really well in my room. I've added something I've got here down the bottom is like a charging station for my iPad, phone, watch, and it gets used for a fair bit, and also speakers. Now, one of my new things this year is this has just been released, which is a blending brush container. I can't think of the exact name, but oh my goodness, I am using the blending brushes so much more since I've purchased that. That's only in the new catalogue, and you can also now get some smaller blending brushes. So I've got a set of those. I haven't used them yet. So over here I've got my watercolor pencils. I've always got a lot of stuff because I do classes. My laptop, which I'll close now. I keep over here my current catalogues and also just the last round, and to the left of that is just some paper, and I keep some notes over here. This is one of the many lights I use to do my videos. These are all my stamps. So and my lovely clock. These are my stamps that I use, so they're current stamp sets. I have a few. As I looked at that this morning, I went, Rightio. So this is where I store some of my, the extra things that I don't know what to do with, like staplers. My retired little punches are in those white containers with the lids. And they're the punches that I'll never get rid of because I'm always going back to them. Now, this is one of the things that I do, and I have done for many years. I always have some pre-cut cardstock, lots of normal basic white, and the basic black, and then some of the other really popular colours, especially Christmas colours. I also keep what I call layer 1 for the front of cards or the inserts of cards. I have got it in one of those old Stampin' Up boxes, the brown boxes that we had, wholly and solely because it keeps the light out and stops them fading. Now, this was a piece of furniture that I got second hand, and I have so much in here. I have my class stamps. By that I stamp pads, so all my spares for some of the big events that I do. And I also have some more retired punches. I keep my grid paper there, my spare class blocks, and my spare trimmers. So now over here are some of the things that I use probably most of all. As you can see, my Whisper White cardstock that I'm using on a daily basis, my basic black and very vanilla. I also keep my acrylic blocks, the ones that I use every day. I've got spare ones as well for classes in one of those plastic containers. Now they're I can't think of what's their name. It's just sitting there. They're such good heavy, you can kind of drop these. I've got my stamping spots in here, which obviously only because I'm an little OCD person. I need to turn it around so you can see all my labelling. And I've got some spare re-inkers. Now, normally I only get spare re-inkers when I make a mistake in ordering. And as you see, I made a few mistakes at one stage. So I've got spare Christmas cards here, some of my spare general cards. I've got my sponge. I've I've got a sponge dauber holder here, but I also have spares here. I've got some more spare cards here. Really, I've got lots of spare cards. These are some of my dies, and a lot of retired ones. Now, I keep my Whisper White because I always have so many scraps in a special big container, the very vanilla underneath. Then I've just got spare adhesives and specialist stuff. Got some class blends down there, some more stamping blocks there for some of the big events. Now over here, this is my table that I do my videoing on. So I kind of have everything close to hand here. So I have, this is just put here till I find a better home for it. So this is my current ribbons, my current embellishments. This is my stamping scrubs and my dimensionals, mini glue dots. Now I can actually chuck things in here from standing on the other side of the table. Sorry, I wasn't watching. My embossing folders. These are my current dies that I use all the time. So some are on magnetic sheets, and the occasional one, because I've run out of magnetic sheets, are just in their original holder. But I do always label them so that they're easy to find, because the Stampin' Up print is so small. And now come around here, there's my power board, and I'll just walk around here. Now this is the side that I do my videos on. There's the large craft mat that I've got. Now it's got a blue side, a white side. I swap between them. These are my lighting. So I have 2 sets of lights to try and give the best light. Also have this here, which I've only just got. It's nothing flash, but it gives me this here. It gives me the opportunity to write on a whiteboard the measurements for the projects. And then I can just take a photocopy of it and keep it, so if I write a blog post or whatever. Then these are my things that I use every day crafting. So they're my adhesives, my scissors, my stamping scrub misting tool, my fabulous ruler, the blue one, which I've done a few blog posts on. And I have a big bin down here so I can just drop things in so it doesn't go all over the floor. I find that a really wide rubbish bin really useful. I do always have some, hope you're not getting too dizzy here. I always have some Stampers wipes, you could call them baby wipes if you wished, on hand for any spills, messes, or whatever. I've always got a few of those. Rightio, up the top there, I've got that lovely Stampin' Up tree that's no longer available, but you can hook cards into it. I've got some retired embossing folders. Over here, I'll just show you how I've put this together. So I've got some old catalogues, which are those there. I've got all my new punches. There's a couple of retired punches in there. I've got some books, some business books, some books just that I refer to every now and then. I've got some, down here, I have some of the cardboard, chipboard, if you come from America, that I can then use for packaging. I also have some of my business supplies down here. So I will have all my postage materials. I will have spare adhesives, so I've always got supplies on hand. I'll just pull this out. Down here, oh, not that one, must be this one. I know, so I always have stamping seal, any of the multi-purpose adhesive, dimensionals, all the different versions of dimensionals. I always have them on hand if anyone wants to drop in and get any. I have lots of plastic bags for packaging up. And over here, I'll just step back again. I've got the cut and emboss, including the mini one. Don't forget the little blue mini one that's now available if you'd like to sign up for the starter kit and become a demonstrator. I've also got some mats for my cut and emboss. I've got little boxes of goodies that I share with my team. And over here, this is how I store my DSP. And over here is some more of my business supplies, my kits that I have. I keep the boxes for. Some of them have still got some cards in. And under here, as we all have, well, most of us have in our craft room, the junk. So I've got some of the cards that I've made. I've got some of our retired stock. I've also got, which I keep, the plastic envelopes that our dies come in. So when I put them on magnetic sheets down here in alphabetical order, oh yes, I know I'm OCD, old ones. Now I have to say there's some that I put in a paper bag or in a box, didn't find them, so most of these in here have actually gone, but I'm too chicken to throw them away in case I need them. Now I'm going to come over here, hopefully you didn't get too dizzy, because I've got some more current ribbon, and this is how I store, I'll just show you here, this is how I should store my current 6x6 paper. Now I would like this to be a little better, but anyway, it works for me. So I've got all my 6x6s in there. I've got a fair bit of paper I need to start crafting. Probably got a little more stock on hand than I normally do because last year there was a lot of non-crafting time. So that's my craft room. I do have an air conditioner because I live in Queensland, and I've got a fan which kind of goes all day, thank heavens, directly over my work area, which is good except when I am embossing with some embossing powder. Now I do have my embossing powder areas. I've decanted all my little containers into plastic bigger ones. It just made it a little easier. But now that we have, which we didn't have one of these, sorry, I won't be doing that anymore. So that's about it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any questions, let me know, and I'd be happy to answer them. Bye for now.